the king. Okay? Now, this is a very young, beautiful woman who was with David in his last, maybe year of his life. Okay? And she's a thorn in Bathsheba's side. She's a reminder of being replaced, so to speak, if you will, by this younger woman. Because again, she lives out her natural life in the palace, being cared for by her son Solomon, being cared for as the widow of King David. All of David's wives, that happened for all of them because of this, and they would have all have been cared for. Under the law, they could have remarried, but because they had been the wives of the king, they did not. They would have had a place that would have been called the Palace of the Women, and that's where they would have stayed, where they would have lived and would have been being cared for. And so Bathsheba sees, hey, here's a good way to get rid of Abishag. We'll marry her off to get her out of here. And so we see this little bit of humanity going on here with this. Can you imagine how it must have been for Solomon's wives? What 1,000, 300 wives, 700 concubines? Boy, there must have been some great cat fights going on there. Moron. For the guy that was supposed to be the wisest man in the world. Of course, you find that out with him when you go. Kathy and I right now in our reading, we're in Ecclesiastes, and the whole book of Ecclesiastes, there's not nothing, but very little in there is spiritual. It's all about life under the sun. And he talks about all the things that he did to find wisdom, But I always like the one there, where he gave himself to wine and to strong drink, But in searching for wisdom, well, I'm sure when he was hanging his head, over the toilet, over the porcelain king's throne, they are getting sick. There was his wisdom for him right there about booze. Some of the things he does, I gave myself, to folly and to fooling. And Solomon's a sad story. But in Proverbs, the first part of Proverbs 31 there, is it 30 or 31? I don't remember. But anyway, that is actually Bathsheba writing to Solomon and giving him advice there in that. But these are the wives of King David. Like I say, Abishag, there, 1 Kings chapter 1 through 4. David never knew her, never had relations with her, but because of the position that she held, and of course they were very, sitting in his lap, they were very physically intimate and things, so that is why she was given the position. She was treated as a wife of the king. Okay, that's why, I did have her there as a separate thing. And again, some of the others, the other children that they have, we've listed and given all of that. If you've missed something, let me know. I've got all the notes here to give to you. But that's where we're going to stop with that for this evening. And then we'll go on from there, and we'll start picking up some other characters, women in the Bible, that are going to be worth looking at. Positives and negatives. And of course, just like with men, you're going to have both there in the scriptures. And again, the wonderful thing in the scriptures is God doesn't sugarcoat anything. You see the good and the bad in everybody. You get to see humanity for what it is. And it's all there for our learning. And so, you know, it's important that we do these things and we study these things. Any questions or anything on that for this evening? Now, Janet made a suggestion this morning. Again, we'll be finishing up History of New Testament Church shortly on Sunday school, and he was asking about, you know, information on, you know, other denominations, other heretical groups, and so forth, and where they stand. And so what I think I'm going to do with that, just to give you a heads up on that, is each week I'm going to produce a sheet on each one.
What their belief is?
And what I'll do is each sheet will be the same in that on, you know, one column it's going to be our doctrinal stances. And then it'll be, you know, this group's, this is where they are on these different things. Just to give you an idea so that, you know, when you're dealing with, you know, somebody in the IMLA whatever, you know, you'll have some background and things for that. All right, let's pray, and then we'll be done for this evening.